Hey, my name's Anthony.
My name's Alex.
And we are
The PTA Podcast. Thanks everybody for tuning in for another episode of the PTA Podcast. We have our first guest on
Am I
our
the
podcast.
first guest?
You're the first one.
That's mad.
Yeah, so I wanted nobody else but my good friend, Pat Roach.
Beautiful.
He's always been there to support me, so I thought let's get him on and let's hear from, what you've done in your career. You've done a lot, and I met you a few years ago. Like
I was trying to do the timeline, and it would have been
a good
6 years ago. Yeah,
6 years ago. Yeah,
crazy.
and we got along pretty quickly.
Yeah, very quickly.
And started, I guess, with that passion for wanting just to accelerate and excel in business, and obviously with the passion that we have of helping people and being the best coach that we can be. And you gave me the honor of coaching you for a comp and being there on a comp day, and you came down and you supported me with our open day, and I've just been seeing you go from level to level to level on the socials, and with what you can do with what you've done. So with taking people to competition, it's been a really cool
ride.
thing to see, man.
Yeah.
I'm really happy for you. I must
Thank you,
admit,
man.
I'm really happy for you. It's nice seeing good friends succeed.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's
So,
that's the key, man. Like good people being rewarded for doing good things. That's what it's all about, man.
Definitely. So let's talk a little bit about you. A lot of our followers and a lot of our subscribers may know you, but for the ones that don't, just give us a bit of an intro of obviously who you are, what you do, and then I'll kind of just take over with some of the stuff that I would like to ask you.
So, I've been in the fitness industry as a PT, probably going on 12 years now. My first, induction into everything kind of comp rep, that's like my lane. Was when I was 15. I did my first string of shows there. I've done 7 shows now. Did my first 3 shows when I was 15, still at school, just like WNBF at the time had a schoolboys category.
Oh, wow.
And they were on a bit of a mission to kind of, get kids into the gym and moving and getting into like muscular development and stuff like that, which was really cool at the time. It was a completely tested federation. It was super weird to me to be getting drug tested at such a young age. But everyone, it wasn't just a random pick, it was everyone on show day getting tested, which was cool. And then from there, I started putting together my first lot of teams for comp prep when I was like, I think 18 or 19. Just because I kind of found a pretty natural knack for it. My dad was a bodybuilder. So I was reading a lot of his textbooks from like a very young age, and it just kind of,
there you go.
Made sense to me. It was one of those things like back in the days where textbooks were how you learned.
Yeah.
It's a forgotten art.
Exactly. Right.
But yeah, it was like I got into that, and then fitness became just a very big part of my life, my identity. I kind of carried that for a long time in the background while I was doing other various things. I've been a plumber, I've been a security guard, I've been working retail management, stuff like that. But fitness was always in the back end, just kind of working with clients. And then I started getting into working in a gym. I thought, if this is part of who I am, I'll work in a gym. Started at reception, moved into sales, saw a bigger, this is back on the Central Coast, and then saw a bigger opportunity to make more money via commission from sales because I found a knack for sales, but I didn't realize it was like selling fitness was like where I was making my success because I love it and like the passion kind of bleeds out of me.
Yeah.
And then I moved into Fitness First in Chatswood. And then I just kind of, got engrossed by this super buzzing gym. It was PTs everywhere. There was 32 PTs at the time. They were all very successful. They were living these great lives. And I was like, maybe there's something to this, because on the Central Coast, it wasn't really like a career avenue.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
Not at the time. So we're going back back in 2014. So 11 years now.
Yeah.
And then, I just jumped into, I started spending more time with the personal training manager there, and then started getting a bit of an idea as to like the money that can be made from PT.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring and I'll start PTing. And that was the first big culture shock to me because I had only ever worked with bodybuilders. So usually it's the opposite way around, where you get into fitness, you start getting results with people, and then you go, oh, I've got a client that wants to get ready for a show, I'll give this a shot. For me, it was the opposite way around, where it was like I was working with people who were fairly well versed in training and putting in effort and tracking food to a certain degree. And then all of a sudden I was dealing with Gen Pop, where it was like, we have to go right back to basics. Yeah. I'm watching someone squat for the first time, like, whoa, how do I correct this?
Yeah.
And that's when the real learning started to happen, right? So it was like, boots on the ground, you're in the trenches, and it's like all of a sudden you very quickly get reminded of how much you don't know. And that's when I started looking into like different courses and stuff like that, did a little bit of clean health, and then obviously started working closely with Jordan and Prescript, got into that, applied biomechanics, that really kind of took it off for me. And then advanced nutrition strategies, I started doing like private consulting with people who were running courses I was interested in. I was like, you know what, I'm going to go super nuanced. I'm going to reach out to the person running the course. I'm going to be like, how much is it for
one-on-one
an hour of your time?
Yeah.
Right. And that's when I started spending more time, specialized time with Rawdon Dubois, Luke Tulloch. These are people that most people wouldn't recognize the names anymore, because they're like dinosaurs in the industry now.
They're industry,
100%.
I've learned off all those guys too. They shaped my career.
Exactly. And then, this is, we're even going back to a time where T Nation was like our biggest.
I haven't heard that in so long.
Right?
Yeah.
The site's still there. It's still very clunky though.
Yeah, is it?
But yeah, man, like T Nation, that was like one of the T Nation, and I remember bodybuilding.com.
Yes.
It was like, that was
that
was where information came from.
Yeah,
right?
exactly
That and textbooks. And then, so, it's been cool to be in the industry for such a long time and see the evolution of like education and where the industry's gone, for better or for worse.
Yeah.
Right. And then really just kind of put together my own, I guess, flavor or style of coaching.
I love that. Mate, you brought back some memories. I was just thinking about my time with Jordan, my time with Luke.
Yeah.
Stefan Inev as well. I spent a lot of time with him. He had, from a nutritional standpoint, he had a huge impact on my career. Especially with him and the guidance he gave me with prepping my brother for his shows. Took his physique to another level.
Yeah. And with these guys, like, they spent time with, like, the godfather of strength and nutrition, right? Poliquin.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, if you're learning from a guy who's learned from him, or has at least kind of done his courses or spent time with him, bless his soul, these are reputable names, because Charles Poliquin, he revolutionized.
He's a king, man.
Yeah, and we still use his principles even today.
I saw you his biosignature.
Bro, 100%.
For all the measurements.
Yep, absolutely.
I did his course back, Cato.
Yes.
I used to own.
Cato Elephant. Oh man,
what was it called?
Can't remember.
His gym.
Can't remember.
Lift
Performance Center.
Yeah. So when he was owning that, and he was really into the Poliquin courses.
That's right.
When he would run them in Sydney, I'd go.
Yep.
And funny story with him and I met him years and years back when he was still working at Fitness First in the city.
That's right.
Before he had lifted. We were sparring partners for boxing.
Yes.
When I used to be real into the thick of my boxing, the gym I was working at was a boxing gym. And I was helping him train for like an exhibition fight.
Oh, interesting.
And we were training with each other, we were sparring each other, it was great. And then we bumped into each other all these years later at this course. Yeah. And it was just a blast from the past. And, then I saw these other people, and it's so cool to see the evolution in all of us coaches that were in the early days, when everybody had, my experience was, everybody had question marks over who I was learning from. And when you learn from it, you're like, you know what, this makes sense to me. It's supported by a lot of data and research, and for lack of a better term, the science makes sense.
Yes.
And it adds up, and then you get 10, 15 years later, for me it's 15 years I've been in the industry for, right? And I think to myself, everybody else is finally on the same page, but I'm actually very fortunate. I was a bit more
ahead
of the curve, exactly right. And now they're asking me, they're like, oh, how do you know this stuff? And I said, you know who you're learning off now? I learned from them before.
That's right.
And some of my friends would even tell me, I wish I listened to you a few years ago, because now it's come out that you're right.
Yeah, that's right.
And I guess you and I are very fortunate to have rubbed shoulders with guys, and a lot of other female coaches who are in the industry and up more, and
for sure.
especially with things like this, the movement of menopause, right?
Yes.
It's termed as the menopause movement, right?
Yes.
a lot more information. It's a lot more widely spoken about, and especially with the kind of clients that we look after with the Gem Pop, we look after a lot of mums, and it's one of the things I've had to actually go back to a student about and understand at a much deeper level, just so I can apply something as simple as nutrition and exercising to them in a way that's appropriate for them, you know?
Yeah. It's wild to think about like these in-person like seminars and workshops and stuff. I remember when they were like, that's how you learnt, right? You'd travel interstate, you might go to like Wolfpack, or you might go to like Eugene Teo, one of his, you know, whatever. And it was always interesting because you'd always run into the same people. Yes. The same coaches, you're doing the same courses and stuff like that. And that for me was kind of like, it was almost like how you knew that you were on the right track.
I was just thinking that, yeah.
You know, it's like if this person's showing up, it's like, all right, sweet. I'm not at that level, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there, right?
That's exactly how I thought. Yeah. Because when I go to those courses and I see guys and girls who are like where I wanted to be, essentially. Yeah. It's like, okay, I'm on the right track. You know? Yeah. I'm learning the same things as them. I'm applying it, you know, similar to how they'd be applying it. So I guess what we're doing is kind of the right thing, you know? Yeah.
Because when Ben Pekulski and Jordan Rutherford, Jordan Shallow, when they did their workshop, I was like, I'm seeing Rawdon show up, I'm seeing Tulloch show up, and I'm seeing Eugene show up, and I'm also showing up as like someone to learn from them. And I'm like, ooh, we're not on the same level. I'm not going to say that, but it's like we're learning from the same people, so I'm on the right track.
100%. Yeah. When I was very privileged and honoured to have Jordan come to my gym that time.
Yes.
When the explosion happened in Beirut and he wanted to do a bit of a fundraiser, he said, can I use your gym and let's do some, I'll do like a workshop, we'll just fundraise. Yeah. And I was a little bit starstruck because I had watched this guy on YouTube in his early days on YouTube doing videos, and I thought something about what he's teaching is so interesting and it's so relevant to me, I want to learn it. Yep. And then he went and did his own thing with Prescript, and I obviously did level 1 and level 2, and then we started to build a bit more of a relationship, and then obviously you were always in the picture as well, which was great. Yeah. And I know you did a bit of work with them as well. Yes. As one of their coaches, correct? Yeah, which I thought was fantastic to see.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And then when you came to my gym that day, I thought, this is absolutely amazing. Like, I love how the world just kind of come full circle for me. Yeah. In a sense where a guy I was watching on YouTube is now in person in my gym, and I'm learning from him, and I'm rubbing shoulders with him, and we still communicate a little bit here and there. And I thought, you meet some amazing people in this industry. You really do, man.
It's like those landmark moments where it's, you know, it's not necessarily a Cinderella story, but it's like, it's almost like it's a very clear, recognizable moment of like, I've arrived, right? This is where I'm meant to be, and this is where I was looking to kind of get to. I'm here, right? So it's like, you know, Jordan doing his seminar at your gym. That's one of those moments where it's like, you know, there's a mutual respect here, and that's amazing, right? And then for me, it was like, you know, I thought he was just asking me to hang out. This was during like lockdown times, so it was like lockdowns were kind of being removed a little bit, they were being eased up, and then it was Ultimate Performance wanted their coaches to level up, and Jordan's like, oh yeah, come and hang out for the day. Me and James are going to be there. I'm going to be running a workshop for the UP guys. And then for me, it was just kind of like when Jordan had done his first bit, and then we have a little break, Jordan turns to myself and goes, do you want to cover shoulders? I'm like, what?
Oh, so I actually thought you were prepped for that you knew what you were doing.
No.
Right? Oh, wow.
No, he's like, you cover shoulders, you're pretty good with that kind of stuff. And I'm like, okay, Jordan Shallow. I'll do shoulders.
That's so cool. For the listeners, if you don't know who Jordan Shallow is, on Instagram, look up the Muscle Doc, and you understand why Paddy and I are just in awe of him. He's, on top of being an absolute top bloke, he's one of the most intelligent people I've ever spoken to.
Absolutely.
He speaks his own language half the time. You really got to pay attention to when he's talking.
Yeah, you got to digest the sentence after he's said it for a couple of minutes and then be like, gotcha.
Yeah, everybody's got to be like, when he teaches, I'm like, nothing distracts me. Yeah. Because if you miss a second, you miss a lot.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, for sure.
But I want to ask you, so when you look at, obviously, you've built a reputation for building really strong athletic bodies. And you obviously spoke about how you kind of got into that. But when you look at the everyday person who's trying to improve their health, what do you believe they underestimate the most, or maybe the top 2 or 3 things that are really underestimated by anybody that you work with, or even just the general population client, when they want to get stronger and become leaner?
Oh man, it's funny, man, because like the more I learn, the more I understand that it's like the brewing basics always win.
Yeah.
Right. And there's all this foundational understanding and learning that we can take from that. But food and muscle is always the answer.
Yeah.
Right. It's like if you grow more muscle fueled by food, you then create this powerhouse of a metabolic system that allows you to keep burning fat. So the stronger you get, the more muscle you put on, allows you to eat more food to fuel that muscle, which then the body prioritizes more muscle because you keep going through these hard efforts in the gym. And therefore the body says, okay, well, this excess fat can go. And it has to go because I need more fuel for this muscle that just continues to keep growing or is getting demanded to grow. So that's the biggest underestimated kind of thing that I kind of see is like, you know, food and muscle is always the answer. Food is not the enemy. Muscle is not the enemy, especially for females. Like I'm a victim of my own success with the amount of, you know, strong, very capable women that I'm working with, and that's only because I train strong and capable women. But it's based on that kind of philosophy. Is like food and muscle is always the answer. If you want to have, like, for the comp prep girls that I put on stage, it's like you want a physique that's going to be very competitive. We need muscle.
Yeah.
Right. We need muscle, and the muscle builds the shape. Right. We're still in this kind of dogmatic, you know, philosophy that, like, you know, girls are going to enter the gym and get too big. And honestly, I'm a little offended by that because it's like I'm 15 years in training and I'm still waiting to get too big.
Yeah.
Right. It's not.
We need too big.
Yeah. It's not going to happen in 12 weeks if we go through this build phase. 100%. It's not going to happen in 6 months, right? You're going to build this shape that you're actually going to really admire, and it's gonna give you that capability to be able to jump on stage and be very competitive, which, you know, for better for worse, I've been able to kind of prove that time and time again.
You have. I was just gonna say you've built some phenomenal physiques, man.
Yeah.
And I love you're a very humble man. You're so humble, and that's one of my favorite things about you. But sometimes, do you ever sit back and think to yourself, "All right, look at what I've done"? Or no, not really. Do you just think there's other stuff to be done?
Yes,
to be done?
I do. Sometimes for the most part, it's like imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
You know, because I've got the better results I get, the better clients that come into me, right?
Yeah,
so
of
it's
course,
like, you know, I've had some really good success with like some really good pro cards in several different federations.
Yeah.
FMG is like the next one that's just kind of popping up, but I've had 2 people go from like amateur to pro in the one show, and they've earned their spot. It's been very clear. And then because of that, I'm getting much more kind of capable, already strong physiques coming to me, and they're like, "You're the guy to do it." And it is scary sometimes, I must say. Like, you know, there's it's 50% like pride and like a little bit of fear as well. It's like you're putting a lot of responsibility in me, and I'm not fully convinced in myself that it is actually me that's making it happen. And it's like I know, like you say that I'm humble, but at the end of the day, it's like I try to oversimplify what I do so I can kind of take the pressure off myself.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
Right? Exactly. So it's like that way it's not so deep, right?
Yeah.
So like I try to really simplify and operationalize what I do. It's like, look, what I do for work is I smack food out of people's hands and yell at them to lift more weight, right? And that kind of eases the pressure a little bit and lets me continue to make it fun.
Well, I guess you have to, right? You
Yeah.
need to. And the thing, I do the same thing. And the reason why I do it, very similar to yourself with about taking the pressure off. But on top of that, I just like people to understand that the approach that they're taking is actually a simple one as well.
Yeah.
It's not this complex thing that requires them to do outlandish things to get a result.
Yeah.
So the more I oversimplify it, the more they understand that it's not as deep, like as you said before, as you may think this is.
Yeah.
There may be, for them, a lot of the gym pop come through. I'm sure you probably get it from the comm clients where there's a bit of psychological aspect to it all with what they believe they can do or how anxious or nervous or even excited they may be to transform themselves.
Yeah.
But I just simplify it all.
Yeah.
I said, look, don't let the emotion dictate anything. Just let's keep this nice and simple.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think for me, I simplify it that much so it's easier to duplicate when it comes to the
100%.
people that I deal with, right? Because I'm like yourself, where I'm very systemized.
Yeah.
Right. I can't be able to generate as many clients getting good results that we get if I don't systemize the process, right?
That's right.
Would you say a little bit similar?
Yeah, I don't like. I'll say this to all my clients, and this is why I'm a bit of a stickler with obviously check-ins being on time, data being collected. I'll say to all of my clients when they first come on, is like there's no anecdotally, but also there's like very, very kind of articulate data telling me that it's like the clients that are more open to communication with me, even about the tiniest, simplest things, those are the ones that get the best results. It's like Maddie did not shut up during her prep. She was talking to me every single day, and I love that, and I nurtured that kind of environment. Kiara, same thing. Pony, same thing. Kalani, same thing. And it's like, if I take all of that and then I look at the data, they didn't miss check-ins. They were super communicative. They were super vocal when they needed things. They held me accountable. It's like, those are the things that kind of really allowed me to kind of collect enough information to make educated decisions. So with that, it's like I'm very, very straight to the point in saying like the more data I can collect, the more educated my decision-making process can be. I don't like guessing. Guessing's a fool's game. I want to be able to go into every process that we have, and I want to be playing chess, not checkers.
Yeah.
Right? Because if I'm playing chess, I'm then only training the system, but we train people. We don't train systems. Systems guide our decision-making process, but they don't dictate it.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Right? I've got to be able to kind of use those systems to kind of frame it around the client rather than just go, here you go.
Yeah.
Plug in, play. It works because everyone's individualized.
100%. And on that, would you say when it comes to those kinds of systems, how have they changed over the years? And what have they been mainly impacted by? How have they even changed over the years, you know?
Funnily enough, they've changed because I got too stuck in the nuance.
Yeah.
I got very, very nuanced about things to a point where it was like paralysis by analysis.
Yeah, I've been there before.
Yeah.
Give me an example.
Well, it was just being like too, like even with comp prep, it's like the lowest hanging fruit yields the best result, right? And I'm looking for the highest fruit. Or it's like, I'm looking for the 1%ers, but it's like, no, we still have 80% of the work to do.
Yeah.
Right? The 1%ers matter when they matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a time where it was just like, I'm going to go super nuanced with this, and I'm going to focus on absolutely everything at one time. And then in the past where I was getting great results, I was just focusing on the brilliant basics, and then the nuance came in when it mattered. So then I went through this phase of like paralysis by analysis, looking at every single little integer and trying to, trying to make changes that weren't really contextually driven by anything that made sense. So then I kind of changed that back to be like, okay, what's the context of what we're trying to do right now? Let's coach for that thing, right? And then, we can find the 1%ers when they come up.
Yeah.
Right. That's when it really matters. The nuance only matters if it's context driven and if we're at the stage where it should matter.
What caused you to change? What was it that you learned, or was it that you maybe would have experienced with your clients or in your career? What caused you to kind of have that shift? Was it just by your own analysis of how you work, or was it something you learned, or was it feedback you were given, or? Yeah,
it was probably a combination of the two. Like I've been blessed with a great opportunity to work very closely with Tony Battaji.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
To be able to be in the same working space with him 10 feet away from me at all times has been invaluable to both myself and my clients. Because if I hit a snag, I've got someone who's worked with, he's done assessments on thousands of individuals over,
he's been in the industry for 30-something years, right?
Yeah. And he spent one-on-one time with Poliquin, right? Where he was able to, go back and forth with him, disagree with him, and they would respect each other. So if I'm looking at like all these coaches that I respect and they've learned from Poliquin, and then I'm dealing with someone who was respected by him almost on the same level.
Wow.
It's like that's an undeniably good resource to have.
Yeah,
right?
of
So
course.
I've leveraged that massively, and I respect him to the highest degree. So with that, it's like where I kind of learnt to bring my systems way of thinking back, or just looking at the basics, and then finding the nuance later. Early in my career, I started case studying like all of my clients. Every single person that I've worked with, I've kept notes on everything that we've done, even if it's like, coming down to how engaging the workouts are, right? And that's given me data to say, although certain movements may not be applicable to what we're trying to do, if I keep them in there, it keeps the client engaged, therefore they keep showing up, therefore they keep being compliant with their training, therefore consistency over time yields the result. So just this one movement that is not optimal for muscle growth, if I keep it in there, they're going to show up and be excited for their training session, therefore they put in the effort.
Think about it. Yeah, wow.
So all these little things have been able to kind of like mold my way of dealing with clients in such a way that it's like I've brought my own kind of flavor into how we do things, or how I do things, to make it a fun, enjoyable, and very healthy kind of process. And also it just keeps it fun,
That's actually
which is the main thing.
You just give me like that's such a good golden nugget. Just
Yeah.
That's such a cool way to look at it. Yeah, because I was always fixated on why we're doing so many of these things that work the same muscles, but in my head it made no sense.
Yeah.
But then I looked at the client, how much they were really enjoying the push. Going from RDLs to glute drive to step ups to all these glute focused, leg focused exercise. But I'm like, I've got glute max like 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need to be doing that. I know that, right? But they're like, but I like it. And I'm like, you know what? If you like it and you're turning up and you're putting the effort in, you get the result over time. Like you just said.
That's right.
In my head, I'm like, just shut up. It's not about you. Just go. Enjoy yourself.
And then it's just, and it's kind of like a process. It's a lost art. It's like the art of coaching, right?
Yeah.
So even with movement, like exercise selection, programming, nutrition, whatever, it's like hiding the vegetables in the spaghetti sauce, right? Where I'm trying to get a client to do a certain thing and they just don't want to do it because it's not sexy, it's not fun, it's boring, whatever. It's like, how can I slide this in there without them even knowing that they're doing it, right? So, for instance, if I've got a client that's really struggling with like keeping retraction through their scapula, right? And they don't want to be in the gym doing like dicky fucking scapular movement fucking workouts because it's not stimulating to them. It's like, oh, sweet. Well, why don't I get you on a long rope tricep push down? You feel a good pump getting through your triceps, but all I'm cueing you on is like shoulders tight. Shoulders tight,
the triceps better,
shoulders tight, keep them retracted, shoulders tight. All of a sudden, we're now going into a lat pull down. We've got really good scapular function with retraction. Okay, perfect. So I've hidden the vegetables in the spaghetti sauce. Without you knowing, you're getting all your micronutrients in. You can't even tell.
Yeah.
Right. But that's like that's the art of coaching. It's just, we're not here to kind of be drill sergeants, just dictate, it's my way or the highway. It's like, I want you to enjoy your experience with this. Because if you don't enjoy it, at some point, you're going to fall off and never want to enter the gym again.
Exactly right. And that's the worst part. That's where I feel, for me, if that happens, I failed. That person.
100%.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Now, one other question I have for you. You work with a wide range of people. I know you have comp prep people, but you work with a lot of gym pop people as well. Yep. Now, between those two people, or those kind of groups, for lack of a better term, what qualities do you see that the most successful clients that you have? What are their top, say, 3 or 4 qualities when it comes to what they bring to their coaching, to their exercising, to their lifestyle, to their ability to essentially achieve a result?
What are the qualities that I see that help them achieve a result? Look, there's a profound moment that I can see happen when, because you've seen it before, a client comes in, they're like, I want X, Y, Z, and they kind of come in, they do half-assed stuff. They tick the box because that's what they know what to do. And after a time, it's not that you allow them to do it. It's like, I'm going to meet the client where they're at. I'm not going to push them over the edge because they're not going to come back. But I'm going to meet them where they're at, and I'm just going to nudge them further. It gets to a certain point, and this is where data can really show, like, it proves to the client that it's not about saying, oh, I was right. It proves to the client, it's like where you put effort in the universe will reward you for your hard work, right? So if you compound that, and it's like if you put effort into absolutely everything that you're trying to do that's going to influence this certain change that you want, the universe will reward you tenfold.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a turning point in that data collection, that coach-client relationship where you see the snap where they're just like, no, I'm going to send it on this thing, right? And that's where I kind of really jump in and go, okay, sweet, we're gonna go hard now, right? That's probably one of the biggest qualities where I kind of see the client, see what they're capable of doing. This is why I love strength training, because it's so qualifiable of that aspect.
Yeah, you can't hide anything with that, eh?
It's like very defining moment when I got Lola to kind of do like 100 kilo RDL at like 56 kilo body weight, right, for reps.
Yeah.
And she racked it up. She's like, I can't believe I did that. And I was like, what else do you think you can do?
Yeah.
Right? You just open that question.
You just open up another door 100%, for her, yeah.
Right? It's like you just told gravity to go fuck itself. That's the strongest force on earth, right? What else do you think you're capable of? And I love that open-ended question, because it's like the gym can prove so many things to you in regards to like what a human limitation has, right? Do you feel then confident enough to be able to like, I'm going to question my own reality and where I work. I'm going to go ask for that promotion. I'm going to stop letting people treat me like shit. Right? I'm going to hold my ground against my, mother-in-law, whatever, right? This is what I love about the gym, because it can kind of show you very different aspects of yourself that you didn't think existed, right? And all it takes is a little bit of grit, the off chance that like you choose violence against whatever you're lifting or whatever you're doing, right? Because rage gets shit done, right? And it teaches people how to kind of channel it, right? Target it.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of the biggest qualities, especially in my comp prep, the girls and even the guys, is just like grit. It's just they will consistently do things that they don't want to do, right? And I think that's the most powerful thing, especially in comp prep, because the reason I did powerlifting was because I wanted to kind of see the other side, right? Obviously, physique, competition and development, it's super delayed gratification in a sport that is very subjective. So you will have done all the work that you can, but then there's still a chance that it's going to be judged not enough, depending on who shows up on the day.
Exactly right, yeah.
Right? Whereas like with the strength sports, it's like it's whether or not you get the 3 white lights, right? If you lifted the weight, you fucking lifted it. It's very easy to see like success there.
Yeah.
Right? And that's like whether or not you take the white lights or not. It's like if that moved from point A to point B and you hoisted that off the ground, it's a very different. It's very easy to kind of qualify success there.
Yeah, it's a nice feeling.
Yeah, the delayed gratification that comes from like physique development, even fat loss, getting up on a stage, it's super delayed. And I think the learning that comes from that kind of stuff it carries over really nicely into life. It's like nothing happens easily. You have to work for it. It's like in order the cliche analogy of like if you're working for something you've never had before, you're gonna have to do something you've never done before, right? That takes grit, takes tenacity, takes relentlessness, and those are the main qualities that I kind of see in my clients that get really, really good results.
I love that. A lot of what you said comes from like a lot of mindset stuff.
Yeah.
Do you train mindset purposely, or do you kind of have an emphasis on mindset when it comes to some of the habits that your clients need to be very consistent with, and especially with when they're dialing into that comp and they're deep into that comp prep?
Yeah.
Is there stuff that you kind of bring to the front of their mind and really get them to focus on from a mindset perspective?
Yeah, for sure. The main one is obviously delaying gratification. That's a big one, especially in comp prep, because it can it can ruin people after the show. This is what's not obviously talked about very much.
Yeah, you don't hear about it much. That's true. Yeah.
No, and this is something I kind of want to bring to light, but you get nothing but praise in the last kind of 6 weeks leading up to the show. Because of social media, we're able to kind of show our rig and you know, all the work that we're doing. We're looking shredded. We get up on stage. We then got stage shots. We've got our podium spot. We've got our photo shoot that follows. And then you start living like a human again. And all the praise is coming from the fact that you look good. And for a lot of competitors, they tie their identity to that physique.
Wow. Yeah.
Which can be very damaging. And this is where, for some people, this is where I've seen it in a lot of my years, but this is how people will justify an eating disorder.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So think of it this way: it's like if you're dieting, you're getting quite thin, and you're controlling your calories year round. You're going to tell that person, it's like, oh, it's not all that healthy. If that person were to change the narrative and be like, oh, I'm just doing back-to-back shows, you'd be like, oh, good on you.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Constantly not wanting to get bigger or put on body fat and stuff like that, right? It's very dangerous in the female space.
Yeah, that's
even
true.
the male space, right? Males go through this as well. It's just not spoken about because males don't talk about stuff.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I know, right?
But yeah, it's mindset's a big thing. So I try to make sure that and this is a lot of my coaching comes from the fact that I've done the thing 7 times.
You got a bit of what's the word?
Empathy.
Yeah, but you got your own sweat equity in there.
Yeah,
well.
exactly. Yeah. Skin in the game.
That's your skin in the game. Yeah.
Boots on the floor, right? So I've done the bounce back. I've done it poorly. I've done it really well. I've not done it at all. You know, I've done preps that have been, you know, managed by coaches who just, you know, treated me like a pincushion when it comes to PEDs, and I've done preps with coaches that have, you know, looked after me in my health and everything like that, and I've seen the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything like that. So a lot of my coaching is around like, how can I make sure that this experience can be the best experience possible, right? So I try to arm my clients with as much information as to like what they're going to go through, so that they're not caught by surprise, right? You know, the irritability that comes into, you know, low calories and stuff like that. I even, to a certain degree, I will make sure that they are staying accountable for their own emotions and how they're dealing with people. Wow. Because it's not the people around you that are doing shows. They're trying their best to work around you, and you know, you've got to be blessed for that, right? If you've got a good support system around you,
that's huge. Yeah.
You know, you can't expect them to know what you're doing because they're not doing it.
Exactly.
Right. So when your spouse asks you out for, you know, a dinner date or whatever, you can't go off at him or her for saying, hey, let's have a meal off plan, because you can't do that. He doesn't understand what's at stake. You do, right? There's the thought there. He wants to take you out on a date. You miss that completely, right? So this is the kind of stuff that, you know, I will have discussions with my clients about from time to time if they're with someone, even with their family or whatever else. There's always food in the house. It's like, okay, but you live in a household with other people.
I love that, yeah. That's not done enough. And one of the biggest examples I can give was when my brother was competing. Yeah. And at the time, I was still living at home. Yeah. I wasn't married yet. And when we'd have dinner, my mum was always accommodating. My brother would give her the plan. She'd prep the dinner for him. She'd cook it. But my dad wouldn't understand. Yes. My dad would be like, is that all you're having? Or that's a lot of rice. Or why are you just having that for? You've been having it every day. Yeah. And then he'd say things like, you know, what's the point of these competitions? And my brother would get really agitated. Yeah. And I'd just say, Alex, he doesn't understand. And my dad would get angry at me. Yeah. He was like, well, help me understand. I said, but you can't understand. Yeah. You just need to support. That's right. If you're not going on stage, you've never, ever shown discipline around limiting what you can eat to look a certain way, to be the best version of yourself with what you're trying to work on. You've never done it before. So you can sympathize, but you can't empathize because you actually haven't experienced it before. That's right. And he would get a little bit annoyed because, you know, it's his son giving him a lecture of what essentially is the truth of the matter. But when I got to the comp time and the show time in particular, and he'd be on stage, he'd be strutting his stuff, and my dad would look at me and say, he looks fantastic. And I just look at him and I think, I wouldn't say it because I didn't want to make him feel like crap, but I think to myself, if only you knew how damaging some of your comments to him were leading up, because you just didn't understand.
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
So I love the fact that you just actually say that, because it gives, it's a really good way of in my opinion, of coaching, where you're actually preparing your client for the short-term success that they're after, but also for the success to follow.
Yeah.
Because they've got a good headspace around this entire thing from start to finish and then beyond. You know?
Yeah. The other main thing that I kind of focus very heavily on is like the reverse.
Yeah.
Because that can ruin people. Like a lot of people don't. They'll go through a reverse and they may not have the same. Sometimes there'll be people that don't have the same support that they had from their coach going into their prep.
Done, see you later. Kind of thing,
exactly. Right?
Yeah.
So
I've heard many stories.
My prep, basically, like I don't take anyone for a comp prep for less than a year.
Wow. Okay.
Right. Because it encompasses the build, gives me a lot of data as to like what kind of dieting strategies they respond to, how they build muscle is usually how we're going to be best to retain muscle. So it gives me a lot of data to kind of work on so that I can create a system around them to be like, all right, sweet, it's prep time. We know what works. Let's plug that in, hit play, and look for the nuance.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
So then from there, it's like, so let's say that you were starting to coach with me. It's like, we're gonna do a comp prep. We're gonna pick our date. Let's say that's 12 months from now. So we're gonna go 12 months and 8 weeks minimum, right? The 8 weeks covers the post comp. Right? Because it's like, we're going to reverse you out. We're going to get you back into normality. We're going to reintroduce a lot of these different foods that we weren't having during our prep. And we're going to focus on your mindset around obviously training and getting back into being a normal human again.
Yeah.
Right? Because you are not meant to walk around at sub 10% body fat.
Yeah, as much as we all want to.
Right? Exactly, right? It's like what I say to my clients is like, the physique that you get up on stage is not a physique that I want to exist forever. It's a physique that ideally I want to last for, if I do it correctly, 12 hours. That's it. And then from there, we go back. We go back to being normal. We don't put on excess body fat. We go back to being normal. Get you healthy again. That's where we focus on health, right? And then all of a sudden, that lesson of like food and muscle is always the answer, right?
Well, I love the physique a lot of people hold when they're just healthy. Yeah, I think it is such an amazing, guys and girls. I think it's so good.
To be honest, like my for every client that I have, and they always are at their best, like peak performance, right? They're looking their best. They're nice and full. They're vascular. They look jacked. They're training really well. They're eating pretty good. It's about 8 to 10 weeks out.
Yeah.
Right? That's where they're fucking looking prime, right? And then it's like, all right, sweet, let's get you fucking super shredded. Yeah. Let's turn that. Let's make sure we can see your skull.
Let's see your cheekbones. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, my brother. Yeah, it was funny because when you said that, it brought back memories of my brother, and that 12 weeks out, it looked phenomenal, just on point. Then I said, as we got deeper and deeper, I'm like, this guy's looking looking sick, bro.
I know.
But it's
such a weird sport, man.
I respect it a lot though, because fuck, it's challenging.
Yeah.
Like as a boxer, or an ex-boxer, and as a powerlifter, they're challenging in their own right.
Yeah.
But boxing for me was more mental than physical. I love the physical stuff.
Yeah.
Getting punched in the face and then moving forward when you get punched in the face.
Yeah,
Different thought pattern you got to have, right? And that's what built my confidence in myself. You mentioned before about confidence and how what you do in the gym can help with so many other aspects of your life. That's what boxing did for me.
Yeah.
Right? Because I was bullied as a kid, and boxing really taught me that I can get through the challenges of that. And it just played a huge role with everything else in my life, in particular my career. Brought confidence to talk to people, to go out and engage with people, and to get setbacks, but that you can come forward again after, all that kind of stuff. But seeing what you go through as a bodybuilder, and I've trained a couple of guys and girls in the past as well as my brother. I would never call myself a comp prep coach though, But seeing that firsthand, witnessing it, watching them, having those conversations about how they're feeling as well, and dealing with all the emotions in between, there's a lot more than we would ever assume for somebody who doesn't actually compete.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, there's heaps, man. Like I try to make sure that I'm the biggest supporter and cheerleader on the backside of like the client that's working. That's the role that I want to take on as the guide. With the comp prep space at the moment, I feel like there's been like a random little shift where it's become like, who's the best coach, right? That's kind of like the trend that's happening. It's like this person's providing the best results or whatever else, and to some degree, it's become like the battle of the coaches, which I don't like, because it's like, who are we here to watch, right? I love the fact that I'm not in the spotlight and I'm seeing people.
You said it right. I'm the
cheerleader.
I'm the hero of their own story. You taught me that years and years and years ago.
Yeah.
And I still think about it today. And all of our clients, they're the hero of their own story.
Yeah.
We're just Alfred. I'm just Alfred, and they're Batman.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean?
That's right.
I think that's still such an important aspect to
For
focus on. You know.
For sure.
One of the things I wanted to bring up, you said that brought up a memory of a post that I saw a couple of weeks ago. This really smart Australian doctor that I follow, she's just a gun, right? And she was saying the coaching space is changing very quickly.
Yep.
Anybody can get calories and macros in like 30 seconds now.
Yep.
What are you providing for your client that's going to differentiate yourself from just talking about calories and macros all the time and trying to think that's the best thing that you can do? And that's what I was thinking of when I was like, who's the best coach, or the battle of the best coach? It's like, what are you actually providing for them? Like, is that a thought pattern for these coaches, or are they just trying to show off these great physiques that they get for this short period of time?
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? For me, it's a very, very, it's a point that I get really passionate about, right? And I get annoyed with a lot of coaches because I've unfortunately had to repair a lot of damage done from other coaches over the years.
Yeah.
You know, and I hate seeing these people just suffer needlessly, right?
Yeah.
Because of a coach's inability to be able to pull their own head out of their own ass and look after their client.
Yeah.
As opposed to feeding their own ego.
Yes.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
sure you would have seen a fair bit of that as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost like it's a point of professional pride that if I'm getting someone ready for a show, and you know, I have different landmarks where we kind of look at what's been done in our time together, where we're looking at in regards to like the pipeline as to like you getting on show. Here we are. Let's assess. Are we on track?
Yeah.
Are there struggles that are going to come up? You know, hurdles, whatever. A lot of people kind of get into this like comp prep under false pretenses that they've kind of made up in their own head as in regards to like what they're doing it for. The why is it doesn't match up to what the sport is.
Yeah.
Right. So the biggest red flag is when people want to come in and they go, I want to do a comp prep because I want to transform my body. It's like, I'm not going to shoot them down straight away. I'm like, okay, sweet, let's do this. But in that coaching process, I'm going to teach them what bodybuilding is all about, what goes into it, the struggles that come with it, and what actually happens on the day, right? So someone who wants to transform their body, they want to make meta change in their life. They've been overweight, or they've just not felt comfortable in their own skin. They go through a comp prep, and I run the gauntlet with them. It's like, okay, you're going to go through a comp prep. We're going to get you a great result, right? It's not my first rodeo. I know how to get good results. You've obviously got drive about you. We're going to push those two things together, and we're going to make something happen. It's going to be beautiful at the end of it. Then what you're going to do is you're going to get up on stage, and you're going to have a panel of judges decide if you've done enough. It doesn't match up, right? Because there's someone else on the day who might look marginally better than you, and they're going to win, right? Are you ready to take that L? Right. And this is something that I've got to be very clear with my clients of like the subjectivity of the sport. It's like, you know, we're going to get you the best physique possible, right? To the point where we have done everything possible, that it is only at the last 1% where genetics can rear its ugly head to say, I've got a better physique than this person. Right. So, you know, it's about that, plus obviously like making sure that the person has a great experience. Like if someone comes to me, they're like, I just want to experience the sport. It's like, okay, what kind of experience do you want? They're like, I just want a good experience. Okay, well, let's make sure that we do this right, because a good experience is usually like a top 3 placing. That's probably the best experience that you can have.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, let's really focus on getting that transformation first, seeing how you like that, and then go, okay, sweet, let's pick a show.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like if if the reasons don't match up to the what the actual sport is, there's going to be an internal battle, right? And for me, it's part, like I said, it's part of professional pride where I can actually talk someone out of a show and be like, if you're doing this for you, do it for you.
I've done that many times before.
Yeah.
When I've done what you've done, where I've just kind of explained the entire process to them.
Yeah.
And I see their face kind of shift. They're like, oh. I
Yeah.
said, yeah, there's a lot more than
Yeah.
I said, and it's great that they're thinking about the end.
Yep.
But that's not what you should be thinking about.
Yeah.
That will come. But you got to think about what you got to do right now.
For sure.
And you got to think about the daily things.
Yep.
And there's a lot that you need to change about yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Because you need to literally give this whole thing 100%.
Yeah.
Like, in my opinion, you can correct me if you think I'm wrong, but, say bye to your late night weekend. Say bye to, all these things that you do as for lack of a better term, normal person for this next, 12 months and 8 weeks, like you've said, because you want change. The actions need to match the change that you want,
That's right. That's right.
And so for our clients a lot, I said, look, I know you want to lose body fat, but I don't think a comp is the way to go about getting you to lose body fat. Let's just lose some body fat.
Yeah.
Give me a good 80% compliance to what I'm telling you to do,
Yeah.
and then we'll go from there, And that's where, like for my brother, that's what it started with. I turned him down 4 times when he's like, I want to do a comp, so you're not ready.
Yeah.
I want to do a comp, so you're not ready.
Yeah.
And he got upset with me. I said, these are the things you need to be doing.
And it's kind of like, I go through this process of like proving to the client that it's hard, right?
Yeah.
So client will go through this fat loss phase and they'll be like, yeah, you know what? I'm super keen on doing a comp. Like, I think you're probably like wrong about me not being driven enough. It's like, all right, sweet. So we've gotten you down to, let's say it's 15% body fat. I was like, all right, cool. What gets you to 15% will not get you to 10. So what we're going to do is we're going to dial in. We're going to turn this up to 11. We're going to dial in, say goodbye to your weekends for a bit. Okay. We're really just going to give this a good nudge, right? Full month, nothing off plan.
And then
we go 100% compliance, right? They get a good result, right? And they get to that 10%. And then I'm like, how's the experience? And they're like, I haven't hung out with my friends in ages. And I'm like, is that something that means a lot to you? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, well, do you think there's an avenue where you could hang out with them, take your food with you and, whatever else? And if that doesn't really match up, because like, look, I'm not going to force you into a show. You've got to be willing to do these things.
It needs to come to the party,
irrespective of whether or not it's comfortable. Because not a lot of comp prep, especially in the pointy end, it's not comfortable.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not fun, right? For a lot of comp prep success, it's mastering the monotony, right? The tedious tasks, the constant food prep, the tracking of data, the photos that need to be taken when I tell you to take them, the updates for your coach on different foods and how you're reacting to them, the tanning, everything that goes into it. It's a full-time job, right? So you got to be ready for that. And again, this isn't to talk people out of doing a show.
It's just the reality.
It's the reality.
Yeah.
It's the glitz and the glam and the great physique is what we see.
Yeah,
right.
Social media.
It's like the best analogy is the iceberg. Everyone pays attention to the tip, but they don't see the extra 90% that's underneath the surface.
I love that. In your opinion, what separates an average coach to these really good, successful coaches in our industry? Is it knowledge? Is it how they are as people? Is it a combination of both? Obviously, is it track record? Like, what are you, when you look at a coach and you think he's a great coach or she's a great coach, what is it that kind of shines to the most?
Yeah, knowledge definitely comes into play. Like, you don't have to be the smartest person to get, a couple of kilos of weight off someone. Right?
Yeah.
In regards to like coaching at a high level, I would say that, high levels of knowledge, but that's not enough. There's got to be the art of application, right? You got to be able to deal with the person in front of you and apply that knowledge, contextually. And usually when what really sets a great coach apart for me is like when they're explaining something, they can explain it in such simple terms, right? Such complex, sciencey shit. they can explain it in such simple terms that anyone can understand it. That's when I look at a coach and I go, you know what you're talking about, right? But if a coach is regurgitating information out of a textbook, I'm like, you don't actually know the craft.
Yeah.
Right? You think you do, but that's not knowledge, that's memory. If you're able to read a textbook and go, well, anyone can cite studies.
100%.
Right? Anyone can cite studies, but it's the application from those studies and go, okay, sweet. Well, these are controlled studies. How do I apply this knowledge into the people that I work with to make it applicable and effective? Right? And then from there, how do I pivot? Right? Because there's nothing in this industry has ever been linear. Nothing. No result I've ever gotten has been linear. Right? And there's always going to be things that pop up. So how do I pivot? Right? Because there needs to be the ability to kind of go, okay, if I'm going to implement this, I know, and the thing is, like when we're dealing with, athletes for the platform, whether it be the platform or even the even getting up on stage, we're pushing people to pretty far limits, right? We're trying to get peak performance out of them. So, the further you go down that rabbit hole, it's like the wheels are going to fall off at some point, right? Yeah. So if I understand that, it's like if I'm going to implement this strategy, I know that the wheels are going to fall off here. So how do I then counteract it with something else? Yeah. Right? Being able to do that and have these things at play, it's like, what are we working towards and what are we working on in the background? It's like these things need to kind of be taken into play. So a good example for that in my sport is like, obviously the females, there's a lot of demand on, glute development, right? But with that, there's a lot of erector tightness, hip tightness and stuff like that. So the wheels are going to fall off in regards to like, okay, we've got to look after the labrum, we've got to look after the hip, we've got to look after the hip flexors, we've got to look after the spinal erectors and core stability. Yeah. So all of that is working in the background while I'm doing all this stuff to build up the glutes. Then there's always the pivoting point to be like, okay, you're off stage now, let's correct all of this. Because that anterior pelvic tilt has been created. Yeah. Right? For the sake of what we're trying to do, we need to bring you out of that so that you can function. And if anything, if we don't address it, it puts you at a disadvantage for your next show because we need to grow more.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, I love that. That's a really cool way to think about it. I didn't actually think about it like that. I think about Pat Roach 5 years ago.
What a loser.
What would you tell him? What would be one piece of advice you'd give Pat Roach of 5 years ago if you were to meet him today?
Just be patient, man. Just be patient. 5 years ago, I was in a massive rush for development in every aspect of my life. Physique, strength, business. If I could meet him, have a coffee with him, I'd just be like, just slow down. Because you're right where you need to be. We are simultaneously arriving and leaving at the same time. And we can't rush that process, because when you rush it, you miss things. And I've missed a lot. Like I'm in this point with my career now where, I've got family that are growing up and, I'm missing a bit of that just because I have been so focused on rushing, but the rushing hasn't helped. I've gotten to where I am in due time, right? And if I was just patient, and just took my time, I'd be able to get a lot more time back. Yeah, that's probably the biggest thing, man. It's just like, I think, especially in this day and age, we're so, like, everything's at our demand and so immediately available that we think we need to speed up that process. It's like the process is already sped up enough. Like we're like 6 weeks away from Christmas.
Crazy, man.
5, 6? I don't even know.
Almost 5,
right?
Yeah. It's crazy.
Like I'm getting people ready for, shows in May, right? And it's just coming faster at us. Like the older we get, the more time speeds up on us, right?
It's true, man.
I heard a quote the other day. It's like we grow old too quick and wise too late.
I was just gonna say that. I heard it yesterday.
Yeah.
There's a guy I follow on social media. He interviews like millionaires. Yeah.
I think the same one I saw.
The old dude, the older guy, he owned like the whole block in Philly. Yeah. That's where I got it from.
That's
he
the same
said it
one.
And I was like,
Yeah.
It just spoke to me.
Yeah, it just hit me to my core, and I was just like...
Because I started thinking about all my family that are now gone, right?
Yeah.
And then I started thinking about the people that I haven't seen, or my life, and my son's 18 months old now, and like it's just like it's so true.
Yeah, it got me thinking. Like I've become very introspective, and I think that's been a powerful thing for me because being able to look inward allows me to hold myself more accountable to how I act and react and all this kind of stuff.
For sure.
And I think it's probably an age thing.
I think so. Yeah,
you become more self-aware.
You definitely do.
I hope. But I was just kind of thinking, I was like, okay, well, if my untimely death were to happen very quickly, I would hate for the thing to be said, he worked so hard.
Yeah.
It's not a legacy I want to have.
No, it's true. I can definitely understand that.
Like, I want that to be a recognizable attribute about me, but I want to be remembered for something more. I guess not respectable, but just something that has more weight. Like,
live a bigger impact, I guess.
100%. 100%. It's like impact over influence. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that the other way around.
We've always said that to me for however long I've known you for. You've always thought like that, and you're definitely onto that, man. From a friend's perspective, you're definitely leaving more impact than you are influence. That's for sure.
I appreciate that.
Last question before we wrap up. A coach comes into the industry, a young coach, first 3-4 months into the industry, and they're excited and they're keen, they're motivated. What's one or two pieces of advice you give them to help them just with getting to where they want to get, but in a way that would be the best way for them to go, so that they can really accelerate and get the most out of their career?
Work with as many people as possible, right? Different disciplines, different goals, different everything, right? Because it's like it's in the hurdles that we face that we're able to ask more questions. Mm-hmm. I've only ever learned when a question has been arisen, right? And the more questions that arise and the more people that I work with, the more educated my questions get, right? And the more educated my questions get, the better the information comes to me, right? And it's not about finding the nuance or anything like that. It's just like, how can I create better thought processes? And that's through asking questions. Like, do not ever think that you're going to not be the student. Once you think that you're the master, it's like you're done.
Exactly right. There, you just become stagnant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, making sure that you're in rooms where you're not the biggest person or not the smartest mind is important, right? Once you become aware to that point, it's time to move on, right? You need to find an area where you are all of a sudden the not the smartest mind in the room, right? This is why, working with Tony has been so very, very leverageable for me, because I'll never be the smartest person in the room if he's in the room.
Yeah, exactly right.
Right. Just work with people, get skin in the game, right? It's like there's no secret as to like why you and I would probably be sought out, because there's years of experience. If you've lasted this long in this industry,
you're doing something right.
You're doing something right. Yeah. And that's not to toot my own horn, but it's like that plays a massive role, massively.
I love that. And like, as the leader of my business, the last decision always kind of falls to me, or the last piece of advice is always asked by me, or Anthony, we don't know how to do this. Do you know how to do that? Or he's the smartest guy in the room, right? And I'm like, for me, I love when I'm a student.
Yeah,
I love when I'm like in front of the Iron Nerves or the Rodin Dubois or the Luke Tullix or the Jordan Shallows, because it's like, it's almost like I can put the brake on a little bit and go, yeah. Now I can just be a sponge again, because I love being a sponge.
Yep,
I always have. But then because I get excited to apply it to our clients and see that those changes that can come. Right?
For sure.
But yeah, I definitely would say the same thing if someone was to ask me.
Yeah.
I had a young boy. He's working with us now. He's I think he's just finished his Cert 3 and 4.
Beautiful.
And he's at uni as well, doing exercise and health science. And he was telling me, he goes, I think I might drop the uni course and just, do like some of these other short courses instead. He goes, it's not really kind of where I want to go. I said, it is where you want to go. He said, what do you mean? I said, don't drop the uni course because you're short-sighted.
Yeah.
I said, I did that, and if I could have my time again, I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah,
I would still probably end up where I'm at right now, don't get me wrong, as a PT, because that's always been a passion of mine. But the knowledge that you have, that you learn at that level, at a foundation level, it just would have impacted my ability to help so many other people so much better.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
I said to him, so don't get short-sighted. Don't go for these short courses because of the name short course. They're not actually more beneficial. They're just trying to get your attention because it's all about being fast with getting stuff done. Yeah. I said they're missing a lot of crucial key elements that you need to learn at uni.
Yeah, it's something I see a lot of the time of just like, you know, PTs will just do course after course after course after course. And I'm like, look, I respect what you're trying to do, accumulate a whole lot of knowledge, but it's like what you should do is a course and then application. Course, application.
Yeah.
Course, application.
I've had people that I've worked with in the past and I've got to do this course, I'm doing that course now. I'm like, but when it comes to their business, right?
Yeah.
Especially when I've mentored them from a business point of view, they're complaining about money all the time. I'm not making enough money. I don't know how to make enough money. I said, because you're spending so much time learning and zero time actually putting anything into action.
Yeah.
And I said, unfortunately, and you could probably agree with this, those individuals that we see that constantly want to do course after course after course after course, they're doing that to hide the fact that they're actually scared shitless. Or they don't feel like they're smart enough.
Yeah.
Which is, it's not necessarily a knowledge thing. It might be a simple confidence or personality thing that they actually need to work on.
Yeah.
Which is sad to see, because when I'm looking at these people, I'm like, man, if only you just put 5% of your time into action, it would actually show you how successful you could be, which could maybe motivate you to put more action in.
Yeah.
You know, because the knowledge is fantastic, but they're not confident in applying it all. Right?
There was one thing when I first started working with Kyle, like he did wonders for my business. Quite literally saved my life.
Yeah.
And his whole thing was like, I remember I jumped on a call with him and he's like, I want you to, so he did like a review of my business. And he goes, I want you to tell me all the courses that you've done and what you have coming up. And I was rattling him off, you know, thousands of dollars into, you know, development, right? And it's obviously a good key indicator of a good coach. And he goes, cool. So of those, let's say tens of thousands of dollars, would you say that you have earned $1 for every 10,000 that you spent? And I was like, huh, well done, Yoda.
It's true.
Exactly.
True.
Right. It's just like, you don't need to be any smarter, man. You just need to be working with more people, which will make you smarter.
Yeah. Would you say that it definitely, like for me, I did it as a way to kind of give me a bit more self confidence to go out and say, I did this course, now I can teach this, right?
Yeah.
Whereas now I'm like, if I know it and I'm good at it, and I don't care whether I have the course or the qualification or not, obviously to a degree, I'm going to just go for it, right?
Yeah.
Like, nobody gave me a business degree to go and teach somebody how to run a better fitness business, but I do it anyway.
Yeah.
Nobody gave me a degree in how to public speak, but I do it anyway.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody told me that I can't be telling somebody how to track the calories and macros without going and being a dietitian, but I do it anyway.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So for me, it's like the confidence comes from the results that you bring.
Yeah.
Right? And I love the fact that, you know, over the years, it was a confidence thing with me. I felt fairly inadequate, especially around other coaches who I knew were smarter than me. But I also used it as a way of, I want to gain their respect. I want to showcase, not for anything else other than, I want this person in my corner whenever I can leverage them.
Yes.
Right? And I know it sounds a little bit selfish, but
no, I totally agree.
I'm so happy to have that mindset of, I want to keep a relationship with this guy or with this girl, because when I need something that's specifically what they can help me with, I have them there and I can just check in and say, how you going? Can we have a catch up? Can you help me with this?
100%.
And I do that all the time. Like Stefan Einev and I always communicate.
Yep.
And I haven't done essentially a mentoring session with him in years. But I'll check in with him for an hour.
Yep.
And I'll pick his brain on a couple of things, and boom, I just action it. And I'm like, I love having this guy right there for me.
Yeah, sure.
You know? And he's my favorite go-to person. He transformed my career from a nutritional standpoint, educational standpoint, transformed it. And he's for me, he's one of the smartest people that I've ever learned from.
Yeah, that's probably another piece of advice I would say to, new coaches is like getting close with other coaches, right? It's like I accredit a lot of my success with my comp prep team and even just the Gen Pop clients that I work with, down to the fact that I have a team behind me. Mm-hmm. I have a team behind me. I've got my chiro. I've got my chiro, Jason Lamb. He works out of Tensegrity in St Leonard's. I send everyone to him. But in sending everyone to him, it's not like I'm just being complacent, be like, oh, you're in pain, go somewhere else, right? I basically leverage that to be able to then identify issues with my clients, be like, okay, what did you do to get them out of pain, right? It's not to say that I'm just going to practice everything that he does, because I don't have the qualifications. I know my lane, right? But then I can make both of our jobs easier. If I've got clients that are out of pain, great. Then we can lift more, and we can continue lifting more, and we can get shredded and jacked and all the good things, right? But if I can then identify certain things that are going on with a client, if I look at their scapular, rotation that seems off, or if it's not kind of moving in the same kind of motion as the humerus, as it guides the humerus up, it's like, okay, well, I can identify that. I can then reach out to my car and be like, hey, this person's coming to you. I can see this happening. This is what I need you to treat.
That's what we do with our physio. He's a few doors up. He used to be in the room next door, believe it or not, but he's moved a few doors up in a nicer, bigger space for himself. Same thing. And I have to have a team around me. Like my coach, Catherine, she's our in-house massage therapist, and all the clients she treats, if there's anything that she has identified, she'll bring it to my attention. Then we look out for it while they're trained. And just creates the best form of, I guess, teamwork.
Yes.
But for that client to have the best experience with us.
For sure.
And they love knowing that they're being looked after as well, right?
Yeah. And I'll say this like very openly with my clients. It's like, I'm going to do everything that I can do to get you the best result, just myself, right? It's not my first rodeo. I've done this like a million times before, and I know what works, and we're going to run very similar systems to you, but we're going to mold them around you. When I hit snags, I've got people behind me that are ready. Yeah,
that's what we do as well.
Right?
I say the exact same thing,
Because I know my fault, and I think that's probably another piece of advice, is just like, know your lane, know where you suck. Right? There are a lot of things as a coach I suck at, right? And I'm learning how to get better at them, right? But it's not up to my client to be patient with me as I learn how to do certain things. If I've got a team behind me, like I still I have Lan Pooley out in Melbourne. She's referring clients to me, but I get her to kind of look after my clients with anything more kind of gut health related or anything like that, especially in the female space. She doesn't do comp prep, but it's been nice to have her refer clients to me, because she's like, I don't like comp prep. She doesn't like it at all. But there's a guy who does it really well, and he looks after his clients. Go to Patty. And then for me, I'm like, whoa,
it's a nice
that's mad.
Yeah, it definitely is. All right, Patty, thank you for your time today, my man.
Thank you.
Just before we wrap up, where can people find you?
Instagram, Patty_Roach_. That's it. And then Elite Health Club in Chatswood.
Fantastic. Thank you for your time today, man.
Easy.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. My good friend Pat. Hope you enjoyed.